Game day.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Chiefs Focus Live. You got me, you got Caleb, you got Thiz running the show. We got a lot to talk about, huh?
We do.
Man, let's start with Kareem Hunt's return because we already know that that we got other stuff to talk about, but let's talk about Kareem Hunt's return. He looked like he didn't miss a beat, dude. I mean,
He did his thing.
he looked like he knew what he was doing. He knew the system. I mean, Andy did say
hmm
that he picked the system up real quick, like within a day or two. He picked up the playbook. So,
hmm
I mean, he's going to be a viable weapon down the stretch. Kareem's crispy return. That's right.
Yep.
I can just imagine what him and Pacheco will look like together. Oh my God.
Well, that's the thing. You have if all comes works out with Pacheco, if Kareem can stay healthy as well, I mean, you got a two running back tantrum that's going to be a force in the playoffs if they can get to that point.
Absolutely. I mean, he just looked like he was so excited to be back. He was ready to play.
hmm
He looked like his old self again. And everybody was
Yep.
going, oh, well, he had 3.3 yards of carry last year. Well, you can't ever base anything off of what somebody
The
did.
Browns, number one.
Bad offensive line, the Browns coaching staff. He was playing with a hernia all season long. I mean, it is what it is. He looked good. I'm very, very happy he came back.
Yeah.
So,
And it just shows us like Kareem. I mean, honestly, he should be taking Still's place. It's the second time Still has fumbled.
yep.
Second time in 3-4 games. So it's like, at what point do you just let the veteran do his thing? I'm surprised they didn't let just Kareem start off the bat. But you know how Andy is. He doesn't want people to feel rejected or anything. So he let him do his thing. But caused a fumble, and that kind of ultimately kind of changed the events in the course of the game. The defense stepped up greatly, but the run game with Kareem is going to be pretty good for him on out. So I'm not scared. I'm not worried with that. I'm very impressed. And just hope he picks up each week more and more and more when they start throwing the screens at him because that's where he thrived. Actually, fun fact, his last game with the Chiefs was the Monday Night Madness, 54-51 against the Rams. And he caught a screen pass touchdown. It was his last one with the team before all the whole debacle and everything happened. So he can be utilized in the screen game. So they got to figure out plays to put him in there as well.
I agree. And I mean, that's his forte. He's so good out of the backfield as a receiver. I mean, he's just, I don't know, man. It's going to be dangerous with him on the field. And when Pacheco comes back, it's going to be just ridiculous. Let's get into this Rashee Rice situation real quick and wide receiver.
Okay. I know you got a lot to say.
Oh, God. Look, man, I mean, people are throwing rumors out there. We're going to get Devontae Adams. That's not going to happen. I don't know what makes anybody think for a second that, first of all, that the Raiders would trade with us, although they are kind of stupid, but I don't think that would ever happen. Second of all, he's owed like $72 million over the next 3 years. Veach is not going to do that. That is not going to happen. It's just not. And the Raiders aren't going to eat the remaining part of his money. Even if Veach picked up the $17.8 million for this year, which he won't do, unless everything gets restructured. That's the only way it would happen. Devontae would have to restructure his entire contract, and he's going to lose money, and he's not going to do that. It's going to come down to money. No. He wants to be traded. I don't blame him.
Again, do you want a ring or do you want money? That's what it comes down to. Do you want a ring or do you want money? Like
he's
I said, every single year, we're going to see a lot of different rumors coming around the next 4 or 5 weeks. Do you want ring or do you want money?
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. So.
Yep. Oh, yeah. By the way, let's talk about that really quick. Rice, there's been some talk. Everybody said he tore his ACL. I kind of asked around. I got mixed answers on that. I do believe he's probably got a slight tear in his ACL. That's what I think's happened. I think Andy's just not really announcing it yet. I know he had a lot of swelling. They wanted to wait for some of it to come down and do another test on it. But Andy's being really evasive about it, which usually he'll just come out and say, yeah, he's out for the season, or this is what happened. He's not said anything. He said, well, let's hope for the best. We're going to do more tests. We'll know something by the end of the week. Well, you can interpret that two ways. One, they really don't know yet because the swelling was so bad they couldn't see anything, which can very well happen. I was told right off the bat that he tore it. And when I looked at the play on coach's film, man, his knee buckled backwards about 3 inches is what it looked like. There's no way there's not any damage. There's no way. But we don't know whether he's going to be out for the season or he's going to be out for 2 months. We don't know. At this
Hmm.
point, we just don't know. Andy's pretty good about being, the gamesmanship is in
Secretive.
his blood. Yeah, secretive. And I understand that. If he does want to trade for somebody, nobody's going to. It's hard enough to get anybody to trade with us anyway. And if he does, and they find out, any team finds out about it, they're just going to go and try to snag up that player. They don't need him. God forbid we get any better.
Mm.
We're 4-0 with a horrible offense right now. I mean, when you really think about it,
Yeah.
best weapon.
Hmm. When you look at the whole Rashee Rice situation, I had a feeling he didn't tear it because we normally hear something like right after the game or that night or the next day, and we didn't hear nothing. They're like further testing. And this kind of reminded me of the Journey Macklin situation. The Chiefs had their first playoff win on the road in many, many years. They played against, I think it was the Texans in 2014, I
Yeah.
think.
So what's 14?
2014, 2015, one of those seasons. Niles Davis ran back the punt, opening kickoff, yada yada. The Chiefs ended up win that game, but Jerry Macklin had a similar like injury, and we thought he tore his ACL, but apparently he didn't. And he came back and played that next week.
Yeah.
Was an affected kid, but came back and played. So this kind of makes me feel as if we're in the same situation. Whether he's out for 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, this is a blessing
Yeah.
because maybe it's going to allow some other guys to get involved. But this is also a blessing we got too. If he did not tear his ACL, wow. Because
Yeah.
Mahomes just no one talks about this more than enough. But Mahomes just kind of ran at his knee. Not
Yeah.
did he do it purposely? No. But I think it's funny, interesting that no one wants to put fault at blame for bad pass and A, and then B, just kind of being a bowling ball just running around. And Rashid caused a fumble.
Yeah.
So at the same time, too, I understand it, but also I believe when you look at this, Rashee Rice, from what it looks like, he's probably going to be able to come back. I feel like
I hope so.
probably in November to December timeframe. They're going
Yeah.
to probably put him on IR, let him rest for a bit, see what you can do, reevaluate him, open up that 21-day practice window, probably right before Thanksgiving, and we'll be all good to go. But for them to not say his ACL is torn right now says a lot because normally, immediately, you know if ACL is torn or not. You know pretty quickly. And they haven't said anything. So this gives us hope that, hey, he's in a better spot than what people think. And if we can make a trade, great. And we'll talk about the wide receiver shuffle later with some of the trades and stuff. But to see what the Chiefs, I'm very curious what they can do with like a Justin Ross. Give him the opportunity. I think someone
Exactly.
said they saw in his Instagram story he posted a picture of him trying to catch a ball or
Yeah.
like a highlight. Let him play. You let Mika Ramingo play. Quentin's right now working the Royals game. Hey, that'd be great for Quentin. I mean, let these young guys play. Get a rapport, dude. Get a rapport built.
Yeah.
Because
I
if you
agree.
don't, you're going to be struggling. This is the time to mix and match and figure out what you want to do. Because you look at the Chiefs' schedule, in some areas it's favorable, in some areas it is not favorable.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, you got guys on the practice squad that showed in at different times during their career so far that they could play. We know
Mm-hmm.
Justin Ross can play. We know if Ramingo can play. We also know that Jody Fortson can play if he's healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He,
Do you want me to
and
give you kind of the remaining schedule, what we got
yeah,
going on?
yeah,
Okay, so we have the October 7th. Yeah, got October 7th. Monday is going to be against the Saints. Then you'll go play against the 49ers, the Raiders, the Buccaneers, not the Browns, the Broncos, the Bills, the Panthers, Raiders again, Chargers, and then the Browns. That's a pretty favorable schedule to kind of let some things fly and just see what happens. The only team I can see that's going to challenge us is obviously our divisional rivals, but maybe also looking at maybe the 49ers as well. They always seem to have our number. And then maybe the Bills,
yeah. The Bills are
the
looking a little better this year, right
Buccaneers.
now.
But the
Right now,
thing is that I think the Chiefs could figure some things out if they do what they can do.
yep. I agree. I agree. I mean, we had a tough schedule last year with 40
Mm-hmm.
drops on the season and won a Super Bowl. I think we can figure this out. It's you lose Rice if you lose him for any period of time, and then you also have Brown that's out because that kind of destroyed your entire season game plan. So you gotta
Mm-hmm.
you gotta improvise,
You got to rely on the young
and we got
guys.
exactly. So we're gonna have to. I know Veach was pissed about that drop from Skymore.
You want to go and
Uh,
transition to the wide receiver frenzy then?
yeah, let's do that because that's something's got to happen. Um, we found out that Veach was pissed about the Skymore drop, pissed, and it got spread around Twitter, and that's okay. I just didn't want to be the one to do it. I let them guys do their thing. I'm not going to do that. Problem is that what's going to happen with Skymore? Are they going to? I mean, is Veach finally done playing the? I know I gave up a second round pick
Mm-hmm.
bullshit and just move on, or do we, swap him with somebody on the practice squad and put his ass on the practice squad? Something's got to happen because he
Mm-hmm.
can't be out there and he hasn't been really. I mean, since the Super Bowl that he caught that one pass, was it 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
He
He
hasn't done
caught a
anything.
touchdown in the Super Bowl. He caught like a touchdown last season, I think, against the Rams. He hasn't really done much.
He hasn't.
It's been a
He hasn't.
constant, unfortunate disappointment.
Yeah, gray sky. That's exactly what it is. And he just, I think he tries too hard to prove himself, and he doesn't really put enough effort in to actually just keep his eye on the ball, catch the ball, understand the routes. He's just not there yet. And I don't know if he will be. I really don't. That was a very simple route, and he missed it. So,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of rumors going around, Caleb. Oh my God, we're going to get Devontae Adams. That is never going to happen.
The Raiders are not going to trade him with us. He wants to be
No.
Aaron Rodgers. Again, do you want to win a Super Bowl or do you want to have money? That's
Yeah,
pretty much what it comes down to. We
it
already
does.
know what Devontae's going to pick. Amari Cooper, I don't know. But at this point, I'd rather just roll with the guys we have on our practice squad and kind of see what happens with there because I'm hoping to make them better. But at the same time, you may need to get a guy. I mean, Amari Cooper's only $694,000
Yeah,
cheap
yeah,
because they restructured his contract. So why not take a flyer? It's only going to give you
absolutely.
another weapon when you have the playoffs.
Yeah,
So why not?
I think he
I
would
just
be
say
the
the
best
money,
option.
give him a third, fourth round pick. Call today. Give him a
Yeah,
fourth round pick.
yeah,
It'll
because
call
for
for
a fact,
fourth
look
round
what,
pick. $694,000. We don't need DeAndre Hopkins. We've already been that
mhm,
saga 3, 4, 5 times. He has chosen money every single time over the Chiefs. We don't need to go that route.
nope,
Devontae Adams is going to do his own thing. Sorry, I'm too animated. But we need to go ahead and just take Amari Cooper. Amari can
absolutely.
revitalize his career in Kansas City. If we can have, let's say, Amari Cooper come back, let's say Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, and these other guys we have on our team, I'm just saying that's a pretty good starting three.
Yeah,
That's basically like a Madden Ultimate team right there, honestly. If we can get things and the numbers to work out well.
I agree. I mean, right now, if you look at Devontae Adams' his contract, he's owed 17.8 million, I think, this year, and over
Mm-hmm.
the next 2 years, the Raiders owe him $72 million. So that's between 24, 25, and 26. He's like 17.8, 17 or 20, $72 million in that range.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of friggin' money. Veach ain't ever going to get that money.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they said, yes, we'll take a third for him, because Veach would never go over a third,
Mm-hmm.
it, he's not going to give that kind of money up. The whole contract would have to be restructured, the entire thing,
Mm-hmm.
because the Raiders aren't going to eat it and give up a player to a rival in their own division. Not going to happen. I don't know why everybody thinks he's going to come here, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I give it a tenth of a percent chance that he would come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those things where it happens, great. If not, it's not gonna be good.
Yeah, no. And look, and we don't even know if he's going to leave. The Raiders may say, you know what, too bad, you're stuck here. And it just may
Mm-hmm.
be what happens.
Well, I mean,
AB
it
is
sounds
very
like
arrogant.
what's his name is Antonio Pierce has said some players have made some business decisions, and apparently, Devontae Adams. If you look at me right now, JP, he is quote unquote hurting. His hamstring is
Yeah,
hurt.
yeah, yeah,
So he's not going to play. We all knew this was going to happen. He's
yeah,
probably going to go with Aaron Rodgers because they're going to try and make him happy because the offense is not doing anything. Yada yada yes, yada
yeah,
yada that, and nothing's going to take place. I
yeah.
mean, ultimately, if he was smart enough, he would go to somewhere other team. But he has his mind. Aaron Rodgers is going to help him, which is great. But would you
Aaron
rather be
Rodgers
a
is
number one on that team or would you rather on the Chiefs? If we're just being serious, just thinking about the stuff.
well,
Just
Aaron Rodgers
saying.
isn't in the greatest shape right now.
No, he's not.
He doesn't look good. He doesn't.
But he
He's
knows everything, JP. We forgot.
uh,
He knows what's best. He
yeah,
knows he's smarter than everybody else. He has
yeah,
his secret information to everything that we don't know about.
yeah, yeah, including COVID. But anyway, yeah,
Well, that's not the only thing, but yeah.
yeah, uh, he's just not looked good this year. He looks like he's almost disinterested in playing the game,
Mm.
and now his knee's injured.
You think
So
he's gonna retire at the end of the middle
I
of the
think,
season?
yeah,
Not the end, but
I
the
think he's going
middle.
to quit. He won't do it in the middle. I think he'll quit at the end. He may get injured, where he can't play the rest of the
medically
season.
injured.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but I think he's done after this season. I don't think he's going to continue. Why
Hmm.
go out? I mean, why go out the Brett Favre way?
Brett Favre at least looked good with the Jets for a time period, and he
He did,
also
but he
good with
looked
the
like crap
Vikings,
with
and he fell off a cliff.
yeah. That he fell off a cliff. Rodgers has fallen off the cliff a little sooner. I mean,
Hmm.
I think the shrooms did him in. I think a lot of things did him in. I think he's just kind of done.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
um, I think I mean out of everybody out there, if they're going to sign somebody, I think Amari Cooper would be the best bet. I really do.
Hmm.
Whether the Browns will trade with us or not, don't know. Most AFC teams will not trade with us. I mean, we'd have to give
Hmm.
up a lot just to get him.
Well, they're saying Cooper Cup with the Rams. Now that'd be nice, but again, are you gonna? It's contract and money, different
Yep,
things.
yep.
I
And
mean,
he's
if the
injured too.
Rams are falling apart, that's the thing. So it's like I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna take place, but roll with your guys. Bring up Jordy Force and just make it to where they can't guard everyone. Like you can do
Exactly.
that with these guys. You have some ball players, but they need to get separation. And I still don't trust McCole. McCoy has proven to me since being here since 2018, the guy cannot get separation. He makes a lot of bad mental mistakes. Not saying he's a bad person, not a bad football player, but I just don't trust him in big time moments. Now in the Super Bowl, he showed us and did his thing, but now, like every time he goes back for a punt, I'm like, oh god, he's gonna
Yeah.
muff it.
I'm so worried. I'm
Things
so
like that.
worried every
Sky
time. Man,
Moore, like,
yeah.
mhm.
Sky Moore can't catch a cold. Um, I just I don't know. I don't trust him.
Because
I
we
don't trust.
expected more, but it's like, why are we drafting these small receivers that are fast? We need to get some dogs. Get a George
Yeah,
Pickens. Get a Michael
yeah,
Pittman. Please do something like that.
yeah.
I just
I
don't
know.
understand why we're continually going this route. You need to get some dogs out there that can play. Not saying Sky Moore, not saying those other guys aren't dogs. They can play, but not right now. We need to get some guys
Yeah.
that can go in and get the ball and take it.
I just don't think they can pick up our playbook. And that's the thing. You got to be a very intelligent player to be able to pick up our playbook. And these
Well,
guys just
apparently
aren't doing it.
we're getting. Apparently we're getting a cream of the crop. Another example, Cornell Powell. Hey, he
Yeah,
made the roster. I think he's on the practice squad still.
yeah,
Or is he been
yeah.
cut? So
No,
it's
he's
like
there. He's on the practice
some
squad.
more wide receiver pick beside Rashee Rice have not been in, but Worthy's doing his thing. But
Yeah,
Worthy's in a whole class of himself. So at this point, I am just kind of baffled on what to say because there's some things where it's like, hopefully you're gonna figure out. There's other times I'm just like, dang.
yeah.
But
I
here's the
agree.
thing: I got to see them win 3 Super Bowls. So if they win this next one, they get 4. That'd be great. But at the same time, as like maybe you take this rebuilding year. But I also think too is like if Rashee Rice ain't that hurt is what they are not. If Rashee Rice is not as hurt, then hey, you need to go take it to him and like do your thing
I
because
agree.
his schedule is very winnable. Now will they go 17-0? No, 18-0? No. But I do think they have a chance to maybe go maybe just lose 2 games, maybe 3 at the most, maybe 4. But at the same time, it's like you guys are proving and showing us they got some stuff, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
Um, I mean, look, we don't have a whole bunch of money in the cap right now, so I think people are really underestimating how much money we actually have. What is it?
Mm.
It's something like $2 million or something, isn't it?
Well, unless Mahomes decides to restructure, which he could do again, free
Yeah.
up more cap space.
I mean, I think that's going to run its course after a while. I mean, he
Mm.
doesn't have a choice because it is a bonus structure contract and he signed it. But in the same aspect, that's going to get a little frustrating. Now we know Travis Kelsey's going to
But
step.
I think he wants to win, though, too.
He does, but
And
I
that's
think
a
he's
good
going to get to a
point.
point where he's going to say, "Hey, look, you got to sign some guys that are actually going to do something." You know,
That's the thing, too. And that's why I feel like I think he's had more say in the draft of receivers because, again, McCole, iffy, and then Sky Moore, bruh. And
yeah,
then Cornell Powell's like, what is going on? It's like, with Rashee Rice and Worthy, I think giving his input is helping him. So on rookie contracts too. So
I agree. I agree.
mm-hmm.
What's the next topic? I think it was Taylor's issues last week.
Mm-hmm. Juwaan Taylor, same thing, man. I don't know why. Sometimes he gets called for it, sometimes he doesn't. I mean, is he leaving early? Depending on who you think you are and how fast you
He's
see
leaving early.
stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah, he's
mm-hmm.
definitely leaving early. He let I watched it over and over and over again, and he jumped so many times last week. I mean, it was insane. Plus, he got Mahomes sacked. Everybody's blaming Wanye Morris. They blame Kingsley, which Kingsley did have a bad game against what's his face. But
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about this on the show numerous times. That line is it's a chain, and once that one the links is weak, everything else just kind of falls apart. And
Hmm.
he's weak. He's weak in a lot of ways. It's not just he's good against. How should I say this? He's good against not so great
Against
defensive
inferior
players.
competition.
Yeah, against inferior
Hmm.
competition, he's okay. But when he goes up against somebody that's a little stronger than, and last week, to be honest with you, a couple of those guys weren't very good. I mean, there were
Hmm.
rookies out there. He's
Hmm.
struggling. Kingsley is better on the right than he is on the left. Everybody knows that. If it was me, I'd be trying him out next week. I'd
Moving
put
them
Kingsley
around.
on the right. Yeah, I mean, I don't care how much you spent. You got a more important, valuable person sitting there that you're going to get killed if you don't, and that's Patrick Mahomes. So you have to. He needs to move. He needs to give it a shot, see what Kingsley can do on the right, and hey, if he does his job and he does it well, then I'm sorry, Taylor, but you're out. You know,
Hmm.
that's the only way I see it. Because Taylor's not doing any better than Kingsley did on the left against what's his name.
And I feel like maybe we need a little bit more time to gel, possibly. But at the same time, too, it's like, dang, this is frustrating.
It's the
But I
same
think I
offensive
saw
line
whether
though.
Kareem or someone had a great block, I feel like, in that game. The running back like helped seal a perfect block. I can't remember who.
That
But
was
it's
Pete
like,
Ryan.
I guess we gotta do if we gotta do more of that, then we just gotta do more of that to help out with. Because I think Taylor can do stuff. I have faith in him, but at the same time, too, it's like, dang, what's going on here? We need
He
some
said Taylor has
changes.
second year issues. He had first year issues too, though. I mean, he's just falling back into that old trap again, and he's got to get over that shit. It's like he doesn't
Is
know
he
how
a
to
free
balance it.
agent? Was he a free agent?
I don't think. Maybe he was. I know we signed him to a pretty large contract. It was a
Mm-hmm.
big contract for that position. Yeah, he was a free agent.
Okay.
I mean, but there's a big contract. I was kind of blown away that they gave him that much money.
Well, there's always clauses and things in there, so I wouldn't be surprised if we each did it without this, and that.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Wandy Morris has done a great job. Um, he allowed again another good game, couple pressures, no sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that happened, yeah, highest paid right tackle contract. That's pretty insane for somebody that's had what 26 penalties over the last year and a
It's
half.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, he jumps. He. I don't know, dude. He just. It's like he gets a little bit of fear in him, of who he's going
He
up
gets
against.
like ready to go real quickly,
Yeah,
just
but he
ready to
does.
go and
It's
just
like he's
starts everything.
scared. It's like he's scared. It's like okay, this guy
Well,
might
my thing
bulldoze
is,
me,
how
so let
long
me
has he been
stand up.
doing this for? Did he come from the Jaguars or? I can't remember what team he came from originally. If this, you can find that, great. If not, no big deal. But I wonder if he's been doing that since then as well.
Yeah, because
And
I
I just noticed
remember
with the
them
Chiefs,
saying,
maybe it's just with the Chiefs with the national headlines just kind of came to light.
well,
But
if you
it's like
remember,
if
Doug
this is something
Peterson
you've been
said that.
doing since, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Doug Peterson said that. Doug Peterson, when we played the Jags, the first thing he did was go to the refs and say, "Watch him, he jumps early." He
Mhm.
knew because he did it for him. He just got away with it. Of
That's
course.
the thing, though. I feel like because it's on the Chiefs, you got this national scale. Everyone's complaining about. Everyone's
Yep.
tagging NFL officiating. Oh, it's a problem now.
Yep.
But he's not the only lineman that's done this, though.
No,
So
he's
it's
not.
like either you let him do it or you let him not do it.
I think his problem is he stands up very straight. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he can. I don't think he has a. It almost seems like he doesn't have a lot of strength in his plant foot because he's got a lean is off, and I don't know how to explain it. If I wish I could put it up on film, his lean
Mm-hmm.
is off. So when he's standing there and he's ready for the play to start, it's like he's trying to get the plant on his leg better so he doesn't get bulldozed,
Mm.
and that's what it reminds me of.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's just
Hmm.
weird. But they got to do something with him because he's going to get Mahomes hurt. And look, anybody wants to talk about trust issues and Mahomes and why he's playing as bad as he is, he does have trust issues. But it didn't come from Kingsley, and it definitely didn't come from Wayne Morris. It's coming from Taylor. And if anybody doesn't know that, they're wrong.
Mm.
They're wrong. That trust issue is coming from there because even if the play breaks down on the left, It started on the right. The play broke down because of him. I mean, it is what it is. The line has
Interesting.
to go in sync. And if he fucks it up, then what are you going to get? I mean, it is what it is. Everybody else is trying to cover somebody else because he missed his guy or whatever the case may be. You just can't do that, you know? So they're going to have to get him straightened out or get somebody in there that can do it. Kingsley's a beast.
I have faith in him. I have faith in him. He'll figure it out. It's just going to take some time, unfortunately. He's going to have to change up. Again, it's hard for one person to do something one way the entire time and no one complains about it. Then you go to another team, and then opening night, because you're on that team, everyone's complaining about it, and then you expect to change it on a dime.
Yeah.
Even Andy Reid at one point even said, look, we have other players doing the same exact thing, and they're not getting flagged, so what's going on? You calling spade a spade here? Yeah. You going to let it be? I mean, like, come on now.
That's true.
So I can't give all the onus and all the frustration towards him because I feel believe that there is a kind of targeted campaign by fans from other teams who keep saying, "Oh, the Chiefs can't," or the Chiefs, God is helping to win. The rest are going to help. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine if you want to think that. Do better. Maybe your team can hold interception. Maybe you guys can get to the quarterback. Maybe you can do other things that can allow your team to win. But at the same time, too, is this. There is some issues and problems going on, but I tell you this, JP, every single year, and I'm normally right when I says, let's have these issues now, weeks 1 through 8, maybe
get it
10.
Over with.
Let's get it figured out in the playoff. Let's get it figured out. So with the playoffs, we're easy money rolling, Skippy dudes sailing. So
well, I can tell you what, if this team's, he said, past problems are a mix of his mechanics and the tackles. They will clean it up. I agree. I mean, Pat, it's weird. You know, if you guys look at his first 3 years in the league, he never got flustered. Never got flustered. His first 4 years, he really never got flustered.
He would just go out there and sling it
go
because
do what
he had to put up these points.
Exactly. And now it's like the trust issues have gotten him frustrated, especially stemming from last year. And then it rolls into this year, and it's the same thing again. It's almost like, shit, is this 2020 all over again? Am I going to get fucking hammered on every play? Do I got to run for my life on every play? And then he starts to get frustrated. He makes mistakes, mental mistakes. He's not all there. You know, when he's out there, he wants to be invested. He wants the things to go smoothly like it does when they practice, like it did, you know, in past years.
But unfortunately, that's just not going to happen.
No.
We know we can be ready for all this stuff, but next thing you know, boom, 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 it ain't going to be smooth no more.
Well, he found that out. I mean, they kind of, to me,
I think he knows that. I think he knows that too. I guess in everyone's deals with this, the rust. The rust is frustrating the beginning parts of any season whenever you're playing baseball, wrestling, basketball, getting the rust all in the first couple of games, but then when you get that figured out and you hit your stride, you're in a much better spot than where you were originally.
Hey, you know who didn't have rust? Kareem Hunt. He didn't have rust. Anyway.
Kareem Hunt looked pretty good.
He looked damn good. I mean, he had 16. He was 16 for 85 yards, including the pass. That's pretty strong.
He should have had that touchdown. I don't know why they gave it to P-Ryan. He should have had that.
That pissed me off, man. I was mad about that. I was like, I got it. I know why. I am not going to say I don't know why. Look, before this injury happened to Rice, their plan was to try to trade P-Ryan. I know that for a fact. So
I think do what?
They were going to try to trade P-Ryan before the trade deadline because they got Kareem. You don't need 4 running backs. They're not going to do anything with Carson
Steele. Well, Pacheco will come back though.
Well, he's coming back. He's out for. He's going to be out until like the end of December. He'll be back. Maybe not even that long. It's 6 weeks. So
do you trust? I'll get a guy. I forgot his name. What's his name?
Well, here's how I trust him. This is how
I don't trust him. He fumbled 2 times.
No.
He got the ball.
He whipped up out of him. I trust him as a fullback. I trust him as a blocker. I don't trust him as a full-blown running back. I know, but
Andy season was a running back. That's the issue.
He's got to get over that. He's got to get over that.
He don't fumble too much.
Yeah, I mean, I think Andy finally realized, shit, I better not, because he benched him, and that was the smart thing to do.
Yeah, we saw it in front of our eyes. He got benched.
He got benched, and that was smart. But the kid is a fullback. He's strong. He can bench press a Buick. The kid's strong as hell. He can leg press a Buick. Kid's a beast.
He can catch out of the backfield.
He can catch
like
out of the
Anthony Sherman. Anthony Sherman, no one was expecting him. Next, he's catching a 40-yard touchdown down the sideline.
He's just not ready yet.
So, I mean,
he's just not ready. But they're not going to get rid of. They're not going to get rid of Steele. Exactly. He's a rookie.
I'm not saying get rid of him, but it's
No, I'm
like you got
saying
other
they're not
guys
going to
where
keep
it's
four
like,
running backs.
let's see what they can.
You know, they got Kareem back for a reason because he's so good at what he does, and now they just proved it. 5 yards a carry,
Mm-hmm.
during this last game. But
Mm-hmm.
you can't keep four running backs. It'd just be dumb.
Yep.
So you're not. Pacheco's coming back. You got uh, you got Kareem, and then you got Steele. P. Ryan is the odd man out. So before all this
Mm-hmm.
happened, he was the guy that was probably going to get traded, and most likely to the Cowboys. But I don't know how that's going to work now.
P. Ryan?
Yeah. So
Yeah. Well,
I was told that a week. I'll be honest with you. I was
they're
told that
probably
like
just gonna keep him.
huh?
They're probably just gonna keep him.
Well,
Him
even
and
at that, if they
P.
bring two
Ryan and
guys up
Hunt.
from the practice squad, that's going to be hard to do too. I mean, you gotta open up some spaces in the wide receiver room because
This
that's where
is
real
why the
competition
trade
is.
deadline needs to be later in the season,
I
week
agree. It
10,
should be
week
the end of
11. It
October.
doesn't. Week 8 is dumb. Like,
It is. It
yeah.
is.
Make it
So
week 10,
yeah, make
week
it week 10.
11.
He said, let's get rid of Sky Moore for. Oh, look. Here's the thing with him. I know Veach. I know him too well. When he gives up high draft picks, a second round, mainly second round draft pick or third for that matter,
He expects you to perform.
he expects you to perform. And if you don't, he doesn't want to look stupid and he doesn't want to lose that money. So he hangs on to him and keeps him on the practice. Look at Cornell Powell. Been on the practice squad for 4 years.
4th-round pick.
Fourth round pick. Any guy like that, Veach just says, you know what? I gave up a high draft pick for him. In his mind, a fourth round pick is a high draft pick. So Sky Moore was a second, I believe. He's not
Mm-hmm.
gonna just give him away. What he's gonna do is he's gonna say, okay, I'm pissed off. Let's bring Ross up, put him on the practice squad until he gets his shit straight, or we can just keep him on the 53 and just never let him touch the football. That's how they
Mm-hmm.
get. That's how because he doesn't want to look. He doesn't want to lose
So,
face. That's what it is.
so from what you're hearing, are people not happy with the likes of Sky Moore
Oh God, no. Nobody's
at
happy
one
with
Arrowhead Drive? What have you
it.
heard them say?
Well, I can tell
What
you that
limited you can?
I can tell you that Veach was pissed, and I actually told a couple of reporter guys that, and it got spread around on the internet. But um, they're not happy. None of them are happy. Mahomes is not happy. He doesn't run his routes correctly. He doesn't look for the ball. He doesn't pay
But
attention to
see,
what he's
we
doing.
keep drafting these small receivers that are great route runners. I'm like, no, we need some dogs that can catch the ball.
Well, the problem is he didn't even run his routes well. That was a shitty route. That's why the
That's
ball
what
was.
he was known for at Western Michigan, running his
Yeah,
routes right.
but his
Effectively.
first year he did okay. He was running the routes okay. He looked okay. The first 6 to 8 games, I should say. And then after that first season and that first Super Bowl, he went. I'm going to say it. He reverted to the McColl syndrome.
Oh
I'm
Lord,
and I'm saying it
oh
right
man.
now. Oh shit! I'm going to go to the jewelry
Ooh,
store. I'm
he's
going to
gonna
go
tweet
hang
at
out
you,
at the mall.
JP. He's gonna
I'm
tweet
going
at
to Dave
you.
and Buster's.
He's gonna tweet
I'm
at
going to
you.
go bowling. I'm going to do all this shit instead of actually practicing. And that's where McColl screwed up, and that's why McColl went to the Jets. I'm just being honest
Mm-hmm.
with you. That's why he went
And
to
this
the
is why I
Jets.
don't have faith in McColl to this day. Still, unfortunately, in certain
Well, I tell
instances.
you what, McColl, he cleaned himself up. He got off his social media. He stopped doing all the stupid shit. He got a baby on the way. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. But that hip injury, he's not the same player. If you watch him run, he's stiff-legged
Mm-hmm.
on that side. And that's because his hip
Mm-hmm.
is not, he didn't have the motion in that hip anymore. He didn't have a whole lot of motion.
Mm-hmm.
The dude, I'm going to say this. He's the only black guy I've ever seen that got no butt. The dude is just a flat board.
Okay.
And then he ran like he
Okay.
had a corn cob up his ass. And then he gets that hip injury and it makes it even worse.
So you're
So,
saying the injury hit? He's just saying last season that, or that's the season before last that kept him out for a long time is just lingering, basically.
what was that again? I'm sorry.
You're okay. You're basically saying the injury he had last season or the season before just is lingering, and it's causing him not be as explosive as he
He didn't
once
have the
was.
motion anymore. And he didn't have the hip
Mm.
motion. He never had a whole lot of it anyway. He was just fucking fast. But now
Speedy.
he's lost some speed and he doesn't even
Mm.
have the hip motions anymore. He just doesn't move the same.
Mm.
He doesn't have the cuts. He doesn't have the things that he used to have that he didn't. It wasn't the greatest with cuts at the beginning. He wasn't no Tyreek Hill. That's for damn sure. He wasn't, he didn't have the cuts.
But he was speedy where we saw, okay, he can do some things.
Yeah, because he gets separation. That was his thing. He gets separation. But once you lose that motion, you lose speed. You lose your ability to cut, to make cuts, to run routes correctly. They got him returning punts because Honestly, that's all he can really
I
do.
think he so has it in certain ways, but I also feel like too, it's like the guy scares me. But like you said, like, yeah, I don't really want to call them Cole syndrome, but yeah, we kind of saw it went from one thing to another. It's like,
And
bro,
I
like
like
even the
McCole.
fans
He's
were
a cool
calling him
dude.
out.
Hey
We
man,
like
look,
McCole, but it was like we saw like, bro, you could be so much better.
yeah,
And Sky Moore is just more of a disappointment. Like, really, we wasted a second round pick on this guy. And
yeah.
I draft night, JP. I said this. I'm like, why are we drafting these small, skinny
I remember
wide
because we did the live
receivers?
draft show. I remember that.
I'm like,
I
why are we
remember.
drafting? I mean, I'm happy for it, but like, oh yeah, we're having a moment. This is from Western Michigan. He doing some things, yeah. But at the same time, too, it's like we need some dogs. A George Pickens, please. Just imagine him in that off our offense.
Yeah,
I feel like sometimes we
I
get
agree.
too much into the, I guess you say the character, or can they run the routes right? If they can play, they can play. Mahomes gonna make them shine.
Yeah,
Sometimes you gotta take that thing. That's what Belichick and them were doing. They got guys that could play. So, and it's worked for the Chiefs
yeah.
so
And
far.
we
But
watched it.
you
You know,
would
we
think
look.
these
We've
guys would
seen
step
Mahomes
in
get
and help
people paid.
carry a mantle.
Yeah, we've seen
I'm
Mahomes get
serious though.
people
This
paid.
he was a guy they should have got. Just
Oh,
saying.
I
Everyone
agree.
wanted to compare. Everyone wanted to compare McCall Hardman to DK Metcalf and stuff. But I'll tell you this: DK Metcalf in the playoff game against the Texans, we were down 24-0. Would have ran that kick return back all the way to the Texans 40-yard line. Just
Yeah,
saying there.
yeah.
So
That's true.
that's one thing we can say we're wrong about. But he did help spark that comeback. Regardless of what it is, it helped us lead to that first Super Bowl.
I agree. I agree. I don't know, man. It's just Mahomes loves. He loves to get make players look great, and he's done it so much in his career. In his short career, he's done it a lot. Albert Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Conley, all these guys
Mm-hmm.
that played for us got contracts other places because of him.
Mm-hmm.
How many times
Mm-hmm.
you get? Did you hear Albert Wilson's name called prior to Mahomes? How many times
No,
you
I remember seeing he would catch some things here and there, but when Mahomes got in there, especially the last game, he went off.
He did? How about
He
Chris
got a big
Conley?
contract by Miami.
Yeah,
We knew Chris Conley a little bit for those who really looked at him. He did some things, but Mahomes, he went off.
he changed him. He changed him. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he made
He
him a
can make
better
these
player.
players do really well.
He can. And then they go. You know what's funny though?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it, both those guys became back to their average play after they got their big contracts when they were with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So
He helped him get paid.
he did. He helped him get paid, but then they went, oh, okay, well, we don't have him anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
we're not the team that we used to be. I mean, I'm not the player I
Mm-hmm.
used to be. So it is what it is. I don't know, man. It's just weird. I think Kelsey's going to get a lot more involved moving forward. We said it
He
last
had.
week that we're going to see that happen this week, and it did, or this past week, I should
Mm-hmm.
say. And I think it's going to happen again. Kelsey had, I think, 80 yards on the day, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that. His
Yeah,
best of the season.
yeah. So, I mean, he had 69 for the first three games. He had 80 in the fourth
Mm-hmm.
game. So I think he's going to be involved a lot more moving forward. They don't have a choice. And I think he knows this. He was pretty depressed, man. He wasn't happy about not getting the ball. He wasn't happy about not being able to help. Especially when he's standing
Mm-hmm.
out there wide open and Mahomes never even looked his direction. And I know
You
what they
gotta
were
get the
doing.
ball to your guy.
You
They're
do.
trying to diversify it up so people don't worry about it. Then next thing you know, he comes roaring back, and then that's good for
Correct.
someone else. And then it's a game.
Yeah,
It's a game.
it is. And it's hard on
But
him
sometimes you
because
gotta
he's
give
not used to
Kelsey
that.
his thing. But he
Absolutely. I
didn't
mean,
go out and trash. He didn't trash the play calling. He
no,
was remain professional. This is something a younger Kelsey maybe wouldn't have done.
no.
So, and that's
Kelsey
another
in
thing too.
2013 would have never done that.
Yeah, that's the thing too. People want to get mad at certain players and things for showboat and stuff, but you have nothing to say when Kelsey was doing that previously. I'm just saying, call spade a spade. Don't
Yep,
get mad at X, Y, and Z player in college or someone doing this now when Kelsey was doing this back in the day. I'm not saying that's bad
exactly.
because I like the fiery passion, but there's a limit.
Yep,
There's a limit. So
yep. I agree. Well, what else do we got? What else was
I
on the
guess
list?
kind of the final thing I guess we could talk about basically is general list kind of going around the AFC West. We can end with that.
Okay. Well,
Just
we
all the
know the
different
Raiders are
teams.
crap, and they're a dysfunctional
Yeah.
organization.
Mhm.
AP made a big mistake. I hate calling him that because it irritates me.
Mhm.
I remember when we talked about this on the show when he got the job, and I watched a couple interviews with him, and I said, "Man, he is really full of himself. It's not confidence; it's arrogance." Well, then he goes and does something stupid like
Mhm.
likes an Instagram post of Devontae Adams saying that he's heard he's getting traded, and then he liked it. He said, "I probably played my last down as a Raider." AP liked it.
Well, and here's the thing, though. AP is old school. He's about the team. He's not about I. And Devontae Adams has a history of I. And AP is an old school coach.
Yeah, but man,
So
you got to watch what you're doing
I
with that
know,
shit.
I know, I agree with you, but at the same time, too, it sounds like he's kind of fed up with his games. Because it sounds like Devontae Adams, when things are going good, yeah, I want to be here. Yeah, I want to be a part of this. But second they lose a game by 20, oh man, I ain't gonna do this no more. He just seems like a guy that goes to pendulum swing. And
Well, you
AP's
know what
like,
I
either
think
you're
the
for the
problem
team
is?
or you're not for the team.
I think the problem with him is it's not so much that he wants to be the main guy or he wants to this or
Mm-hmm.
that. I think the problem is that he knew as of the draft that uh, that with them not getting a quarterback and AP being arrogant about it, thinking he was going to get somebody at 13 when he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even
Mm-hmm.
try to trade back. Didn't even try, dude.
Uh-huh.
So if you're going to do that and you're going to have two backup
Mm-hmm.
quarterbacks, and you got a guy you're paying $70+ million to, why
Okay.
would you ever in a million years do that? Why would you do that?
That's a
Why
good
would
point.
why would you put these guys in a position to fail? And that's what he did. He did that out of arrogance. He thought he just his
I think
first
also,
draft,
too,
I don't know,
at
man.
any point, a trade could have been made. But again,
He didn't
I'm
try.
fixing my camera. But in my opinion, I'm going to say this again, things could have been done where he could ask for a trade this offseason. But again, this has been a history of Devontae Adams liking things and then not liking things. He thought things were better with the Raiders, and he went there, and then his buddy got shipped off. He's like, "Oh, I'm stuck here now."
Yeah,
Seriously,
he knew he was stuck.
either you want money or you want a Super Bowl ring. And I'm tired of the players saying, "Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that." Just come out and say, "Do you want money? Do you want a Super Bowl ring?" If you're gonna say money, I ain't gonna fault you because this is generational wealth you're acquiring that a lot of people don't get.
Oh, absolutely.
So
But the thing
yeah.
was, though, he knew for a fact when they got rid of Derek Carr, he knew for a fact there was no way he could leave. There was another
But
team
that's
out
the
there
thing
that could
because
take
they
his
gave up a
contract.
second and third round pick in the contract. They weren't
Yeah,
going
but
to do
that
that, so he got
contract was
unstuck.
rough, dude. I mean, that's a big contract. It's still big. I mean, it's 3 years into it, and look
Mm-hmm.
at it. I mean, it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
the Raiders are dysfunctional. It starts with Mark Davis. It bleeds its way down, and they're never going to get any better as long as he's in control of that football team. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm. That is true. So we see the Raiders. Now, what are your thoughts on the Chargers?
Well,
Play the Chiefs pretty close and tight, 17-10.
I
What do
will
you
say this: Justin Herbert, in my opinion, is the top three quarterback in the league. If he was with
Okay.
any other football team, if he was with Miami over the last 2 years, he'd have a Super Bowl.
Okay.
I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
He has had the roughest start of probably any quarterback that I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, four head coaches, five OCs. There's no way. I mean, there's no way you can learn anything because it's constantly changing on you. Everybody's philosophy is different. Every OC
Mm-hmm.
that comes in is different. Every head coach is different. Look at Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to pound the rock all the time. They knew they could. I mean, he found out he couldn't do that against us, so he threw the ball a few
Our
times.
run defense is pretty good.
Damn good. And he found out that he wasn't going to be able to get away with that with us. So, but
Mm-hmm.
Herbert coming out with a high ankle sprain, playing the way he did, taking the hits that he took, it
Battled.
battled through it. And I mean, look, man, that was a close game no matter how you look at it. That was a 5-point game. I
Mm-hmm.
think they're still going to be they're going to be second in the league. I don't know, or in the division. I don't know how they're going to do as far as the playoff is concerned because with him being injured and the way they don't really have a wide receiver room, to speak of other than one good
Mm-hmm.
wide receiver. It's a rookie. Uh, they're gonna have struggles, but I still think they're better than anybody else other than us in our division.
Mm-hmm.
So it just
Wow.
is what it is.
That's a good point. I'll just keep my point simple with the Chargers. I think they can be a great team, but they're probably going to trade Justin Herbert at the end of the day.
I agree. I
I
agree.
mean, they're going to run the ball. Herbert's good. Harbaugh's doing a great job of showing he's a tough guy, leader, but they're going to want to scale back. And hey, maybe he'll get traded to a team that really needs in the NFC. We see that Derek
That's
Carr's revitalized his career with the Saints. Maybe he can. Maybe we're going to see that Herbert can revitalize his career with some NFC team that's really struggling out there. You
Yeah, I just
never
hope it's
know.
not the Panthers because that's just jumping out of the fire and I mean out of the pan
No one
into the
needs to go
fire.
to the Panthers. No one needs to go to the Panthers.
No,
The owner's terrible. Whole franchise is terrible. Bryce Young is not that bad of a quarterback. It's a terrible team.
it's a
That's pretty
terrible team.
much straight down.
It
Terrible
starts at the
team.
top.
And
It
yeah,
was
Andy
terrible.
Dalton's doing his thing, great, yeah, but you can't trade all these picks and players for one guy and expect him to be Superman. He's not
Exactly.
Cam Newton. Two
No,
different
he's not.
quarterbacks, two different styles
Absolutely.
of play. So
Absolutely.
again, people need to stop getting on Bryce Young. Needs to be traded. We'll figure it out from there. All right, last team, Broncos.
Oh man, look. I don't have any faith in them. I just don't. I have no faith in them. I don't have faith. I haven't had faith in Sean Payton in a very long time, and the reason is because I know for a fact that he's not good with rookie quarterbacks. He's never really had a rookie
Mm,
quarterback. He lived off of Drew Brees' intelligence and talent, and it made him look like a great coach. But
mm-hmm,
I knew when he had to draft a quarterback that it wasn't going to be great. Bo Nix tries way too hard for somebody that doesn't have the talent yet or doesn't have his feet
mm,
wet in the NFL to be able to try that hard. They put way too much expectations on him, especially Sean Payton. I don't know if you remember, but when he drafted him, he said, "Man, he reminds me of Patrick Mahomes." Then after that,
mm,
got blown up in his face. Oh God, he reminds me of Drew Brees. No, he doesn't. He doesn't remind me of either one of those guys. He reminds me of Mitch
mm-hmm.
Trubisky. That's who he reminds me of. A
Yeah.
bigger Mitch Trubisky. I mean, that's really who he is. He
Mm-hmm,
doesn't have the coaching to be able to succeed, and they're putting way too much pressure on him. And I don't think Sean Payton's that great of a coach. I really don't. I think he lived off of doing
mm-hmm.
blowing up, running the
Breeze and
score
the
up on people,
defense.
raising the defense, a great defensive coordinator, and running up the score on people when he had an easy schedule. I mean, you
Mm-hmm,
don't do that to any team. I'm sorry, but you just don't. And that's Sean Payton's MO. You just don't do that. It doesn't build
mm-hmm.
any confidence in
Well,
your team or your players to say, "Yeah, I just ran up a score by 45 points on a team because I could."
mm-hmm.
I know that team's 0-9,
Well, we'll
but I
see how
still
long
did it.
he lasts there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if I don't know what his
Mm-hmm.
contract. I don't remember what his contract is. I really don't.
He's. I will not be surprised if he makes it more competitive. It's not going to be this year, but next year, I think he has a couple quarterbacks where he can do some stuff. Let him get the guys in he wants, and I think he'll be okay. Because remember, the Broncos kind of emptied the bag with those Russell Wilson
Yeah, the
picks
backup
and
in
stuff in
Pittsburgh. Yeah,
trade. So he is going to have to give him a couple years. Give him next year,
I'll
maybe
give him
after
that
that, to
much
see what's going
time.
to
I mean,
happen.
it's not. Look, I just don't think. I
I
don't
mean, they're
think.
winning games. I mean, the defense is at least stopping Aaron Rodgers. And yes, we know Aaron Rodgers is not the great best, but it's like they are doing something. So I just give them a little more time, but I don't think they can beat the Chiefs. So that's just kind of my whole viewpoint on that.
You're right. You're good. I think, and that's fine. I mean, he may be able to win some games, but he is not going to get to a Super Bowl anytime soon. He's
Mm-hmm.
not. I mean, maybe in the next 3 years he gets to a playoff game. I just don't see him getting to a Super
Mm-hmm.
Bowl with Bo Nix. I just don't see it. I think what's going to happen is next year, if Bo Nix has a rough season, which I think he's only had one touchdown pass all year, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's
Mm-hmm.
got one.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think. I think he's a good quarterback. I just don't think he has the right coaching, and I think he got way too much put on him too quickly. And see, if you remember, if you look at like
Mm.
what's his name, Locke. What's his name? Drew Locke.
Drew Lock, he's with the Giants.
Yeah, he was with Broncos. Remember, he was with the Broncos. He got thrown.
There's the Broncos, trade to the Seahawks, and then
Yeah, he got thrown into the mix too quick. Ended up a backup. There's
Mm-hmm.
numerous quarterbacks out there that you can see that came out of the draft. Oh my God, this kid's so good. But then when they get so much pressure
Mm-hmm.
put on them, and they don't have the weapons or the coaching staff to make them look to
Mm-hmm.
make them good, then they end up being
Mm-hmm.
backups somewhere. The same thing has just happened to the kid Bryce Young. Everybody's putting
Mm-hmm.
the blame on him. It's not really him.
It's not.
He
It's
had
a lot
no
of other
tutelage.
external
He had no
factors.
tutelage. Yeah, he wasn't taught anything, man. He came out of college into the NFL and expected just to be good without good coaching. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, no, that's fair.
But anyway,
You got anything
yep.
to say before we end up for the night?
No, just keep an eye out on the trade wire. If anything, I don't think it's going to happen this week, to be honest with you. I just don't see it happening this week.
Yeah.
Everybody I've
Give
talked
it
to said
time.
most likely not. Give it time to see what
Mhm.
happens. And we'll see what happens with Rice. Hopefully they bring up Ross and they bring up whether it be Remigio or Fortson. I have a feeling it would probably be Fortson because he's played in a couple of games with us and he's done really well when
Hmm.
he's not injured. So once he gets set up and ready to go, I think he's a big body wide receiver / tight end,
Yep.
and I think
Put
he'd
him in
be a
there, see
really
what
good
he can
athlete.
do.
Absolutely. With that being
Hmm.
said, I got nothing else, man.
Yep. Same here.
All right, guys. Well, peace out. We will talk to you again on Thursday, and hopefully we'll have some updates for you. Have a good weekend or week.
See you guys.
See you guys.